Alright boys, welcome to Farming Just Got Easier Part 2 because we have the second advancement quest coming out, and unfortunately it's not looking like it's the same thing that I was kind of wanting them to do, but it's still too early to see how they're going to be handling a lot of these advancement quests. So this is, just Farming Got Easier Part 2. We're going to talk about that in today's video, but before we begin, again, I have to shill this because this Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, your boy is going to be hosting a Master Duel tournament over on the Twitch, linked down in the description down below. And even if you aren't a Yu-Gi-Oh person, you don't even know anything about the game, you maybe just know that Blue Eyes White Dragon is a big chicken, okay? You know all that stuff. I would still love to see you guys come out. It's going to be a fun stream. We're going to be there for a fat amount of time because it is quite a big bracket. It is like 5 rounds per person bare minimum and 7 rounds total because of, finalists and everything. So it's going to be a fun time. May involve some drinks or something. I don't know. We'll see. But it's bound to be fun. I would love to see you guys out there. If you want to participate, you can still join. Just keep in mind that we are restricting 1 archetype per person, meaning only 1 person can play Blue Eyes, only 1 person can play Dark Magician, etc., etc. Still nobody playing Drytron, and we're getting really close to the deadline. I would really like someone to come represent the archetype. Like, come on, man. Someone get their friends. Someone get their mans. It's like my deck. Let's go. Let me get somebody to rep my people. But aside from that, that's pretty much the whole thing. You can come into the Discord, just find me, DM me, be like, hey, this is the deck I want to run. Is anybody using it? If not, cool. You can run that deck. And then, give me your duel links, or not duel links, but Master Duel ID, and I'll sign you up for the tournament. So I would love to see you guys come out for that. I've been pushing this for about the last week and a half, and I announced it about 2 weeks ago on the server. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I would love to see you guys out there. We could still talk about FGO and everything, all right? We can still do all that cool stuff. Just make sure you pull up, all right? And with all that being said, let's get into this. So first and foremost, if you guys don't know what this is, basically FGO is putting out these new quests where you fight some little boss battle, right? Some little quest over here. You beat these guys, and you get one of these CEs. So the last one we got was actually, it was a little bit of a tough quest. I just want to see if I can actually find this, because the last one, in comparison to this one, is pretty dummy easy. The other one, basically, if you guys remember, when you first logged into FGO, you had to do this quest where you had Ku, Arash, and Artoria. Basically, you have to fight them, and they're kind of thick, dude. They're pretty strong, and it can be a little bit of a tough fight. So, it is kind of jarring that they just threw 3 200k busters at us, and we're just like, can you beat them? And it's like, yeah, they're pretty dummy easy. I mean, it's not impossible to just one-shot all 3 of them, so I don't know why they made this one this much easier. They could have stacked the things again like this. Like, they could have made a Saber Archer Lancer, like, something that's more of a challenge, and make them not get weaker whenever they attack. Like, because you attack them and they just get weaker. So even if you didn't clear for some reason, they just get easier to beat every turn. So all of this stuff is just nonsense. Like, who cares about all this? It's like, oh man, they can, I don't know, do things to themselves and do stuff to us, right? They can remove their, but it's like, who cares, bro? Like, they do all this stuff, it doesn't do anything, right? They're literally just smack them and they die. If you have a basic free-to-play account, you could probably beat these dudes first try. Like, you could probably load up with, like, Arash, and then, I don't know, Chen Gong, and then some third servant, right? Like, your free waiver, right? You could load them up, have, like, waiver Brave Chain first, then Arash, then Chen Gong, and you'll probably clear them, right? Like, you'll probably do enough damage with all of the overcharge buffs that they get. You'll probably clear them. Like, they're really not that hard. And the reason it's weird is because you get a very powerful CE. You get a 5% bonus drop rate to your bones, whereas this one down here is a 5% bust to dust, right? And my theory was that they were going to, like, maybe release one of these every week, so that, like, over the course of a month, you could at least get, like, 4 CEs, so then you have a buff rate of, like, 20%, right? Like, that could be really strong. But Unfortunately, that doesn't look like they're doing that. Again, I think it's a little early to call if that is what they're going to be doing or not, or maybe they'll make these more available in the shops. I also need to double check that, yeah, they can be limit broken, because I remember that wasn't the max. Yeah, because if you can get 4 of these, you can multiply it by 100%, but they're only giving us the 1. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do in the future, because you would have thought they would have given us more of these, right? They would have let us stack these together, grab a couple extra ones from the shop, try to get up to 100% no matter how many rare mana prisms or things it costs, or like at least make it available, right? Or maybe put it in an event, maybe it's a drop somewhere, maybe it's in the friend point gacha. I think that would be a huge incentive to summon on the friend point gacha if they throw them in there, but they haven't done so yet, so I think it's a little odd. That's also part of the reason I'm kind of making this more of a discussion, because honestly, like, it's very simple. It's like, go beat the event. Like, they're a bunch of berserkers. Like, how much advice do you want from me, man? Like, just beat them up. If I remember correctly, you can't bring friend people on this. You have to do it with your own box. That's why I was like, dude, just use Arash, Chen Gong, and the free waiver you have. You could probably clear it that way. But, like, I don't know what more you want from me for beating it. But, yeah, it's just like, what are they going to do to make these more available? Because even though these are good, right? Like, I know some people were kind of freaking out. They're like, this is insane. It's an additional 25% buff rate to the drop rate. But it's like, yeah, but at some point we need to be able to get 4 maximum broken copies of this to get a 100% buff, right? That's obviously where this is going. But since they're not more available, I'm wondering when, it's going to be, like, where else it's going to be available. Is it going to be like an event thing? I think friend point gacha is probably the best way to do it, because it gives the friend point gacha some increased value, because the friend point gacha has already become, like, much better. You can get, the fact you can get 4 and 5 star CEs in there now, the fact that the free-to-play servants in there include people like Chen Gong and Arash that are very strong. You can get other 3-star servants if you're struggling to get people like Ku and stuff. You can pick them up. The fact that there are 4-star servants in there, like, what is her name? The little Habitrot. I was like, the little fairy person. I always forget her name. But Habitrot, who is a legitimately good farming servant. Like, she's like one of my main farmers that I use with double Castoria. Like, she is legitimately good. And I still only have her at NP4. So, like, the fact the friend point gacha already has all this value, I think this would be a very nice thing to throw in there. And sure, is it going to be probably hard to pull? Probably. Like, it's already hard enough to get, like, the 3-star CE you want for events, right? When you're doing, like, 100 million rolls. So these would probably be even harder to get. But I mean, over the course of, like, multiple events and just continually pulling on the friend point gacha, eventually you'll get these. And I think it'd just be a good thing to go ahead and throw out for the player base. I really don't want to see these become a rare mana prism thing, because even for someone like me, it is just hard to get a hold of, like a heavy amount of rare mana prisms, right? Like, it's just hard to get, right? Maybe if you're a person that you're one of the guys that you burn all of your male servants, or if you get a servant that you're like, oh, I don't think I'll ever use this servant, I burn them, which I don't advise, by the way. I've had people on stream be like, hey, like, do you think I should burn the servant, right? I just pulled, like, my 3rd Heracles or something, and I'm like, no, you should keep all of your servants until you get them to NP5, because you have no idea what they're going to do with them in the future. You have no idea how good they're gonna get. And if, like, let's say even Yugioh, right? Like, let's say they give Yugioh some crazy buff where it's like, oh, at NP5, she gives the entire party like a 100% buster buff, right? Like, you have no idea what they're going to give these servants. And I think it's just wise to be patient and, like, not just be like, oh, I want the immediate gold cube now. I think it's better to invest and just go ahead and, like, as you slowly pull them, get everybody you can to NP5, and then, after that, start selling them for gold cubes. I think that's the smartest thing to do. But even then, like, you just slowly accrue, like, these gold cubes, and they give out, like, one every now and then. They become a bit more generous with it, but because of how rare the resource is, I really don't want to see these get added to that. So if you guys have a better idea or a better theory of what they're going to do with these, I'd love to see those in, the comments down below, because yeah, right now we just have the 1, and, like, so the fact that we know that it can go up to 25% is nice, but the fact that we only have the 1 is kind of like, it's a nice prelude of what's to come, but we don't really know a whole lot of what's going down. But if you're on the JP version of the game, maybe you downloaded it to get Arjuna Ult, or maybe you downloaded it to go get Counter Lady over there. Make sure you just get this done. Again, it's stupid easy. Like, I didn't test it myself that you could do it with a Rosh, Chen Gong, and Waver, but I don't know, I might, dude. Like, I might just test that out because it seems like it's viable, right? Like, it seems pretty easy to get this done. I mean, it's just 3 decently chunky Berserkers, but it means you can bring whoever you want. So, yeah, make sure you get that done. Let me know you guys' theories in the comments down below. I'd really like to see what you guys think about this. Sorry it kind of turned into like a little theory video in the middle of there though, but like, I don't know, I just... Sometimes like I start talking about the game and I'm like, I just legitimately wondering where the game is going to go and like what they're doing. Because it's really exciting that they do stuff like this, because it tells me that they haven't like completely run out of ideas and they still have things planned out for the longevity and like the lifespan of the game. But it's also just like, I wonder where they're going with it, you know? So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I know I already said that, but I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace, late guys.